Hey friends, my name is Kaylin. I also go by kaycreigh, and today I'm going to be reacting to your unpopular Pokemon opinions. A few weeks ago, I took to Twitter and I asked for your spiciest takes, your most controversial thoughts, and y'all delivered. I'm only going to be able to react to what is a fraction of the total responses. So if you want to see more of these, be sure to leave a like on the video and leave a comment down below letting me know that you want to see more of these, and also follow me on Twitter. That way you can participate in the next one. Anyways, without too much further ado, let's go ahead and get into the first spicy take. Our first controversial opinion today says that Porygon did nothing wrong. And while I know what incident we're referring to, I personally have a bit of a bias towards Porygon too. Does this look like the face of someone who would do something wrong? It's honestly unclear. The second opinion says the Jodo Games are the worst in the main series. Yes, even the remakes. And to this I say, are you okay? Heart Gold and Soul Silver are incredible. I will die on this hill. This is probably one of the ones that I feel most passionately about. Heart Gold, Soul Silver were my first main series Pokemon games, and oh my god, they're still my favorite. I mean, you okay? All I'm saying here is that Heart Gold and Soul Silver are great games. And yes, I do enjoy the quality of life improvements that they've made throughout the years. I definitely appreciate those. But I think that we all can acknowledge that Heart Gold and Soul Silver were so much fun. I mean, come on! The absolute joy that I felt when I thought that my journey had come to an end, but nay, I could go to Kanto and do it all over again. I mean, I get that some people think that that's a gimmick, but honestly, it adds so much more playtime to the game, and also you get to keep your mons. I can't possibly understand where anyone would have this sort of opinion. I'm just gonna assume that this is not an actual opinion, and that instead it was someone who was just trying to lie. Anywho, next opinion says Incineroar and Tapu Fini are incredibly average Pokemon competitively. While I can absolutely get on board with Incineroar never coming to a competitive game ever again, and especially not Dynamaxing, because oh my goodness, I don't want to see it. Tapu Fini is a cutie. I mean, I know I've actually talked to Jamie about this and how he thinks that Primarina is better, and while I do love Primarina, I think that Tapu Fini is a cutie, and it just adds a little spice into the bucket of life, you know what I'm saying? Fourth controversial opinion says Pokemon the Movie 2000 is the worst movie for its laziness in using the "you're the chosen one" plot narrative, as well as the awkward forcing of the idea of a ship between Misty and Ash. Okay, I absolutely am on board with the fact that they really did just slap the whole like, "and the world shall turn to ash." But in rebuttal, I would like to offer possibly the most iconic line that has ever been uttered in any movie of all time.
I could use pants.
Not to mention the Lugia theme, one of, if not my favorite, Pokemon music ever. While I do agree that the plot was maybe a little lazy, I don't think that we can look past the two very excellent points that I've presented here today. Opinion number 5 is actually multiple opinions in one, and I'll go through and address these bullet point at a time. I love the black and white anime. I love Aromatisse. My favorite regional bird is Unpheasant, and I love the experience share and never felt grinding made the game more difficult. I find it boring. First up, saying I love the black and white anime. The 4th generation of the Pokemon anime is the greatest Pokemon anime that I've ever seen in my life, and to follow with the black and white anime is just a disrespect to the memory of the 4th generation, and I think that they could have done so much better at such a high. They got rid of contests, and I just can't. Iris? Hello? I just can't get behind any of it. Thank you. 2, I love Aromatisse. You know, I think Aromatisse is neat. I like the idea behind Aromatisse. Spritzy is very cute. While I can't understand the dislike for it, you know, I'm on board. Third bullet point says my favorite regional bird is Unpheasant, and I'm not even gonna justify that one with a response. And the last one says I love the experience share and never felt grinding made the game more difficult. I find it boring. I 100% agree. Back to when we were talking about Heart Gold, Soul Silver, The only thing that I will say is those are probably the worst games for grinding. The like level up, the whatever it is where you the amount that the levels increase, it's ridiculous. And quite honestly, I can see where having the experience share on for all the Pokemon does kind of get annoying, especially because like if you want to have a Pokemon in your party, but you don't want that one to get over leveled, that sort of thing. But then you can just put it back in your box because that's now accessible from the bag. I don't know. But I do agree with the general idea that people who are like, meh, I wouldn't have to work for whatever. Like, what? No, that was never the fun part. Anyways, so yeah, I agree overall with this opinion. Is that? No, kind of. Next up is a simple one, and it says, I think Dunsparce is cute. You know, I actually see it. Old Benji Kenobi says green shinies are some of my favorite shinies. And while I think that there are some nice green shinies, the one that my mind immediately goes to is shiny Espeon. First of all, such a missed opportunity. Espeon, I think, has one of the like most graceful and like pretty designs. It's one of my favorite evolutions, and I think that they could have done so much more. On top of that, the jewel color doesn't change. Could you imagine getting like a teal Espeon with, I don't know, like even a purple gem or something like that? That could have been so cool. Instead, no. They chose to make it Christmas, which like I love Christmas, but not on my Espeon. Next up, we have a few controversial opinions from the incomparable Queen Tracii Wee. And first opinion is, excluding Reboot, Sword and Shield starter evolutions are the worst in the series. And I'm almost inclined to agree. I think that Gen 5 is my least favorite generation for starters, but there is not, like, I don't like any of the Generation 8 starters. So they're kind of neck and neck for me. I guess I would say Gen 5 pushes it over a little bit because I genuinely dislike Emboar. No offense to the Emboar stands of the world. I'm just not a fan. I will say that I think Pokemon absolutely kills it with the beginning evolutions for all of the starters. There's not a single first evolution of a starter that I don't think is cute. There are definitely ones that I see and I'm not necessarily drawn towards it in terms of what I think it'll evolve into, but I think that they do a good job of making them all cute. But yeah, we absolutely stand Reboot, the angsty boy of all of our souls. The next opinion says, the story for every gen have always been mediocre at best, but the games can still be enjoyable. The later games have less replay value though. This 100%. Pokemon, in my opinion, I mean, you don't play it for the story. I wish that Pokemon would put a little more effort into that, but at the end of the day, that's not what we keep coming back for. And absolutely, I don't know if it's because of the fact that there was more replay value in terms of the actual quality of the games, or if there were just fewer games to choose between to replay, but I definitely find myself going back to older games more. And the last one says, pretty saturated sprites are better than 3D models. This 100%. I'm not really a fan of Gen 5, but I think that the Gen 5 moving sprites are some of the best in the entire franchise. Gen 4 sprites also really got it right. And I think that the biggest thing here is not only that it takes away some of the initial charm of the art style of Pokemon, but also that there are so many Pokemon who were not designed to be 3D. I think that Typhlosion is a really good example of this because they butchered our boy. All right, let's just say it. I mean, there is no getting around the fact that Typhlosion is not meant to thrive as a 3D model. Next up, from another queen, says, Everstones are made to keep Chespin and Grookey young and cute forever. And this kind of goes back to what I just was talking about with the starters. There are so many cuties that evolve into absolute abominations. And it's a shame. Chespin and Grookey, especially, I agree with. And the next opinion says, Pokemon Black and White may have the best storyline in all the series. Maybe, but so my thing is that because you don't play Pokemon for the story, like we were just talking about, when they do put a little more effort into adding more meat, I guess, to the regular Pokemon story, I don't take as much notice. If they were to do something completely different, I don't know, like add voice acting or even deviate from the standard model of, oh, I'm a new trainer. Oh, I'm gonna go on the gym challenge. Oh, there's an evil team. I have to beat the evil team. Now I'm the champion. If they were to deviate from that, I think it would really catch my attention, I guess. But because Gen 5 isn't different enough, and I don't necessarily enjoy the gameplay of Gen 5 as much, the story is not enough to draw me in. Does that make sense? No, I know there are a lot of Gen 5 stands, so don't come for me. That's just how I feel. That's my possibly controversial opinion. And next up from Neighbor Games, he says, also Sword and Shield plus DLC may be my favorite Pokemon games. Yes. I don't know if I would say my favorite Pokemon game because XD Gale of Darkness still exists, but the DLC is so promising for the future of Pokemon in my opinion. While you may have issues with the DLC itself or the fact that you had to pay more to get what was originally an incomplete game, like, you know what I mean? But I think that we're moving in a direction of Pokemon to have more interesting stories, to have more interesting gameplay, more open world type stuff. What we really all want as Pokemon fans! So yeah, Sword and Shield plus DLC, pretty good. Next controversial opinion says, in terms of storytelling, Pokemon has so much wasted potential. Gen 1 of the anime was a good start, but it's only gone downhill from there. Detective Pikachu gives me hope, though. This was one that I read it and I was like, yes, this is exactly how I feel. And while there are a lot of things that you can meme on about with the generations of different Pokemon animes, especially with Gen 1, I think that Gen 1 tapped into some incredibly interesting stories and more depth than you see in the later generations. Like, for example, the Ghost of Maiden's Peak episode, even the Sabrina storyline, those were so genuinely intriguing to me when I was younger. And watching back, I still think that those have more intrigue, more interest, more almost adult narratives, but told in a funny, fun way than you see in later generations. And the last controversial opinions is the fact that I have noticed that anytime something is universally loved or revered or gets a lot of attention, there is always going to be sort of an equal and opposite reaction of passion and hatred for that thing, whether it be Pikachu or Charizard, Gen 2, Gen 4, etc. There are as many people who love them as people who truly and genuinely detest them. And I think that that's what makes Pokemon and the community so much fun, is that every Pokemon is someone's favorite. You know what I mean? Every Pokemon has someone who just absolutely loves it, has someone who absolutely hates it. And the fact that there is so much passion in this community for these little tiny 3D models who have superpowers, it warms my heart. And I love to see people talk about the Pokemon that they love. So if you have been watching and enjoying this video, be sure to comment down below. Let me know some of your favorite Pokemon, some of your controversial opinions, and also let me know if you want to see another one of these videos. It was pretty fun to make, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, follow me on Twitter if you would like to participate in that. And also on Twitch, if you aren't following me already, I pretty much stream most days there. So I would love to see you, be able to interact with you real time. But yeah, thank you so much for listening to my takes on your controversial Pokemon opinions. And yeah, that's all I have to say. Tune in next time for more shenanigans.